So I'm just
Nice.
going to give people a minute to pop on.
Awesome.
And then while people pop on, and we're just going to kind of say, hey, it looks like
Hey.
everything's stable.
I might jump off to double check because let's see, you'll tag, right?
Yeah, I'm
Okay,
figuring out
perfect.
how to do the tag right now.
I I wish I could figure out if anyone's listening and knows. I've got the Galaxy Samsung S10, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
still trying to figure out how the crap to do split screen.
There's a split screen.
You know, my not wasn't the Samsung, it was my LG's did that, and I loved it on my cell phone because
Uh-huh.
I could split the screen and look at two different things and not be like back and forth on Zoom and Facebook and going, oh crap.
Ah, I see. So it only shows me because, okay, and you can pop on. I think I've got you
Right.
tagged.
Oh,
So, and
perfect.
then it should be,
That's
you guys, we should be
fine.
good. How do I know, right? Like I'm not a techie person. I
Oh,
see,
yay, now I see it.
you see us?
Awesome. Woohoo.
Cindy put her little googly eyes up.
I
So we're
love
live.
it.
This is good.
Yay,
And
Cindy.
we're missing our third triad. We're missing Kaisa today. She's got a super busy schedule and is preparing for a trip and is going to be integrating some body pieces on her trip. So we're like, girl, take a break. Like,
Yes, yes. And hopefully, because she's coming close to me, I
Mhm.
can see her. So I'm hoping I can manifest working on it. 'Cause
No, you
yay, I gotta at least see one sister.
you guys are so lucky you get to be together.
Oh, that would be
Hopefully, and
cool.
I'm just
Really
gonna hold.
working.
Yeah, I'm gonna hold space for you guys to see each other too. I'm glad that the light is like not in my eyes this time.
It
Oh,
was bad last
it
time.
was so bad. But I mean, I did have some nice comments like, wow, you look really beautiful in the sunset. I'm like, thanks. I couldn't see myself, but that's fantastic.
Oh
Wow.
man.
Oh,
We just
that's
see you in that lovely light that you
so,
shine.
it's so beautiful. And you see it all close up, and like my skin's completely frazzled. Like I've been like ripping it apart. It's completely dry. I'm
Oh
dehydrated.
snap. I know I'm starting to get like the granny neck. It's time to drink more
Mhm.
water.
I
That's
know.
my gauge anymore. It's so funny. But you know, I love this body. It served me well, keeps on trucking and better. So
Yeah.
how about the psychic attacks lately, huh, girl?
Okay. Well, let's talk about psychic attacks because you guys, wow, wowie, wow. And it's coming out of the woodwork, right? It's
And
really,
some of them are pretty dangerous or have the potential to be pretty dangerous.
yeah, I'm actually seeing, well, when you say psychic attacks, like I'm seeing in the field work, I'm seeing people really get, I've seen people's soul bodies completely separated from themselves. And we're
Wow.
seeing lots and lots of suicidal thoughts, a lot of people wanting to leave
Mm,
planet, you know, and
not surprising.
we're talking about like there's a lot of fear on the planet and we're
Right.
processing that collectively, right? And then it's like, all right, I mean, Amaria, you're like a total warrior, so you're like, bring it, bitches, what do you got for me, right? And then you have to go like freaking regroup, right?
Oh my goodness. Well, you know, it's weird to think because going back on it goes all the way back to Vegas. This trip that I mean, I knew I needed to be there to hold space and a container, which I'm glad. And the way that it turned out, I didn't do the little side trips that the kids and I wanted to do, but like my car was attacked and like I ended up stopping in Salt Lake and doing some energy work and found entities and portals and was able to put a ban on interference for the trip. Literally got to Vegas, went to meet my friends for dinner and just had enough space to squeeze through rush hour traffic to get into an empty car lot. And all of my radiator fluid just went
Oh
and
my,
literally my water pump, my auxiliary pump was like sand. It dissolved. And so when Frank looked at it, he's like, somebody has put something on your stuff. They had tampered with
what?
your engine. and and so because like
Well, it
the
didn't
way
get
that it
like
had
too
been
hot.
going, he's like, there's no way.
Go
The
ahead.
thing
I'm
is
sorry.
it's been showing the light
Mhm.
a little bit here and there for a couple months. But my ex-husband had looked at it and he's like, oh, it'll make it to a trip here and back. You know, I've checked the hoses. So I trust him. You know, Nathan's an amazing mechanic. I trust him with that. I trust him with a lot of things. And so I was like, okay, cool, fine. And so I went and got it serviced. And even those guys looked it over. Oh yeah, everything looks good.
Wow.
And so, you know, fine. Got down there and he's like, no, the way that it rotted, he's like, it's like something was intentional, which we expected because it was a 5D conference. I knew I needed to be there. There were 8 assets, super soldier assets. Well, actually 7, one of them CIA,
Mhm.
but he's a trusted 3-letter agency person. And so instead of going on these other excursions that I wanted to do spiritually, I was there in Las Vegas instead of on the outskirts like usual doing my work.
Mhm.
But you know, it was such a blessing because the energy was so that all I could do was literally do session work, energy work, meditate, dance, meditate. Like everything I was doing was back into the container, back into the getting rid of what's just come on us, what just hit this fan, what just knocked out that internet for these guys' interview. And because I know that James Rink was wanting to do an interview with Susan and Frank and me.
Mhm.
I'm like, I
Yeah.
can't. I
Yeah.
have to be here holding this container because it's literally that's how dangerous it was.
Mhm.
That my car could have died anywhere in that desert. That's a 10-hour drive. So for me to be able to tell people that it was a blessing to go, and some people are saying, how is it a blessing? That's what I'm seeing is I'm seeing every bit of the positive of it because if it was going to happen, it was going to happen anyway. Someone's going to tamper with the car. I'm a targeted individual. I reject that. I choose to be safe everywhere I go. And that's part of what I'm working on putting together for my psychic attack class on, you know, helping with, and a lot of it has to do with the I am,
Yeah.
the way we talk about ourselves and others. And so, yeah, I went through every bit of money I had at the
Mhm.
time in the moment. My car got fixed. I got new tires, which were needed. Frank was a genius and was able to make parts for Mercedes that were from a tractor store, from Home Depot, and from AutoZone. That is amazing. So for me to say that was one of the most amazing trips I've been on, I'm not lying. I'm like, this is so cool because
Mhm.
these psychic attacks can be dangerous.
Yeah.
But really our energy can make the big difference. What is it that you've been noticing, like especially from last week where we missed a day?
Yeah, well, I just think that you had a hell of a time there. That's right.
Oh my God.
Um, you know, whew, ah, right?
I know, girl.
So,
That's why we're wearing these.
like, this is not like nothing is coming off of like this is like a new one I got from Christina Dobbs, and she made me this, and this is like
Ooh,
right by
beautiful.
my, so isn't this beautiful?
I
And
love it. She does
then I've
beautiful work.
got so many things. This one was just sent to me um, from Wolf
Ooh,
and Dragon.
what is that?
It's organite.
I like the shape.
It's yeah, it's a bunch of um, pentagons, and it's
Ooh.
like
Now I
those.
want to show mine off, but it's in my bedroom.
Oh my gosh, I have like I'm surrounded by like everything possible here, but um, you guys, I know we're gonna do a mini like Amaria and Kaisa and I. We're gonna do like a mini class. You know, we're gonna before you guys choose to dive deep into Amaria's psychic attack class, but or maybe we'll do it all together. I don't know, but you know, these are times when people don't understand. Nobody is understanding that they have the power within them to create the environment that they want, right? It's like you don't understand the architecture of the body, you don't understand the architecture of the soul, of the oversoul. And these are all these kinds of things that make a huge difference. And because when we're getting attacked, there are some people like you getting attacked in the physical, right? And then there are little attacks like, and these like some of like the little attacks can be something as simple as like I'm trying to sit down and write my shielding workshop, which launches on Thursday, right? So here I am working, doing my stuff, trying to film my things, and of all the deals, these guys, these beings, these entities, they're going to come in through our animals, they're going to come in through our children, and it's going to be mommy, 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 knocking on the door, banging on things, throwing fits, like fits you've never seen before. And one of my children was growling. I'm not going to name any names, but it was the littlest one. And I was like, what? You're growling at me? Like, who growls? Like, what? Right? And it's
She
just,
must be related to my youngest lately. They're
and
growing fags.
it's because they know, it's like, we're going to make you stop doing these good things. We're going to make you stop. And we're going to do it in the way where you're going to have to step away, because you can't ignore your children, right? You can't,
Right.
you can't simply ignore us if we come through this way. And you know what I say to that? Oh, yes, I can. And just
My
like you
kids
did.
get grounded
No,
and then
sorry
they
about
get
it.
treats like, oh, you're good. Here's your treat. Oh, you screwed up. Oh, that's too bad.
It's and then speaking of, like, our car is, we have literally no vehicles that were working.
Mm,
None. And that's what they do. They attack your vehicles, right?
yep.
So there's one up on ramps right now. You think it's the starter. Turns out it's not the starter. There's all these other things. Nothing's making sense. Um, leaking fluids. My car like had oil in it. My other car had oil in it. And all of a sudden it's like gone. Like
Oh
it's there's no
no.
puddle of oil, no nothing. So it's
Yeah,
like
like
my
burped.
my other daughter was like, the car's not starting. I'm stranded. She doesn't know how to jump the car. And then, oh gosh, she's like, never mind. Is someone going to come get me? Never mind. I'm just going to ask some rando to help me jump the car. And then nobody hears from her, right? So now we're all in a panic going, where is she?
Mm,
And then she's like, oh, by the way, some light came on and the car started shaking. It's like the VSA light or something. I'm like,
oh no.
so when the car starts shaking, pull it over, turn it off, turn it on. We need to put oil in the car, right? So it's like, oh my gosh.
Oh
Um,
crap.
so,
Isn't this delightful?
but I mean, my hoses aren't disintegrating. I'm miraculously losing things, and cars aren't turning on, but my hoses aren't disintegrating. And we didn't have to MacGyver anything yet. So
uh,
that's really great. But yeah, I mean, psychic attacks are they're actual physical attacks on property. They come through the people that we love, or the animals that we love. They come through in ways that, you know, um, even through, let's say, I'm tired, right? Well, what's going to happen when I'm tired? That's going to create a weakness if I hadn't strengthened
right.
my container. And so, what does that mean? That means I might have a really bitchy moment, or I might have a real weak moment and have some kind of like spiraling, dramatic, you know, whatever. Uh,
Which I did get a good reminder of that today by a friend when I was like, I just need to talk. I don't need anything else. Just need a little advice. And that was one good thing. Well, what about your 12D shield? I'm like, I did do that and I let it crash right when I went into the store this morning. So
yeah,
yeah, we really do need to hold those energies in those containers because it's easy to get knocked on your butt.
it is. It is. And the 12th dimensional shield is really just designed to be a base shield, right? It's really just a base architecture. So it's like, if you can't hold the base architecture, then oh my gosh, how are you going to bring the rest of your shield in, right? How are you
Right.
going to bring the rest of those techniques in and work? And so, it's about really asking your team for help too, understanding, what that looks like and
Right.
what it feels like. But I don't know anything about this like moon thing, but this moon thing, this full moon thing, right?
This full moon has got people on their crazy altars coming out.
Well, and I've been crying, and I'm usually, like I've done a lot to like detach and stuff, but like I'm super emotional and crying. And I not yesterday, the day before that, I had this big package that arrived, and I haven't even been able to say thank you to my friend yet, like voice to voice. So our friend at Wolf and Dragon Apothecary sent me this beautiful
Oh,
letter, and was like, I know you've been going through some hard times. It was just absolutely like I was crying, and
I need to get mine picked up. Oh, I can't wait for it.
yeah, it's just
It's ready too.
beautiful, beautiful
Well, and
treasure.
I'm wondering if because of the release, just the energy that she's sending, even without touching that package, I mean, just the intention when we really are frazzled and we just get that love. That's, I think, why it's so important for all of us just to be loving,
Yeah.
even when we're being attacked. Like this morning, a client was giving me a new butthole, but all you can do sometimes is just, so sorry you're having a really shitty day.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Sometimes that's all we can do. I've been noticing um, people coming out of the woodwork. Really, people are really being triggered. And I don't anticipate that going away anytime soon, because it's just everything's being amped up. And, as much as people don't want to agree or believe that that there's an exopolitical agenda, and that there is massive levels of mind control. It doesn't matter if you believe it or not. It's the truth.
Right.
And it's like, you know we're seeing it even in the nicest of people, that are getting massively triggered. And
Yeah.
also, the people that are possessed are they're really fun, because they're just out there thinking it's hysterical, and they're going to poke the bear and try to piss people off. And um, I see people in my feeds do that sometimes, try to go in and say things. And I don't think anybody understands this about me. I don't get upset. So it's like, it's not going to bother me. Not likely it's going to bother too many people that are in my feeds, right? Like I do the best I can to keep my container, like anything that belongs to me or is an extension of me, I do the best I can to keep it there. It's hard on a platform like that, right? Um, because, you
Seems
know,
a little easier with strangers, I think. You
mhm.
don't have that connection.
Yeah, that's for sure. That's for sure. And then I'm seeing a lot of people have this, like, I don't know what to call it, a love devastation. Like people are feeling so lonely right now. Like, I'm never going to be loved. I'm never going to be in a relationship. And I don't know if that has anything to do with the full moon energies, or if there's like a shedding of something or a transformation of something, but it's really very intense.
I
And I
think,
don't know.
yeah, it has been really intense for a lot of people. I mean, myself included. I know I've dipped and then I'm like, what am I crying about? What the fuck?
Right?
So,
We're processing for, like planetary, like loss. Like we're really feeling like we've lost a lot. And
yeah.
and we have, but like it's like it feels like all the lost souls, all the lost loves. And it's so deep, and it's like it's just really pushing up in all of us. And so I think that that's where the crying is coming from, right?
Well, and I think any of us that are on that divine growth cycle, that ascension cycle, law of one. I mean, all of us have the desire. Nobody wants to be alone. We want to have that companion to snuggle up to. And at the same time, then we look back and we're like, yeah, do I want it this bad? Yes, I do. No, I don't. And it's that teeter
Mhm.
tottering of going back and forth. And really, I think it's really getting to know ourselves on a deeper level. And what is it that I truly give? Because I know there's somebody out there that matches that. And instead of worrying about, is this the right person? Or do I need to worry about dating these people? just being like, hey, I'm having fun with friends. I love all my friends. And if something works out with one of them, great. If there's still someone to meet, doors open.
Mhm.
But I think we do have to be careful with that, because there's so many people still that, and I've done it in the past too. It's almost like you just want that so bad, you're just jumping into that honeymoon phase instead of getting to know somebody and just being their friend.
Yeah, actually, that happens. Just that happens to a lot of people. Moving into those exciting frequencies, and the thing is, though, n- I have found that people, even like possessions in people, can hide for a long time, but they can't hide longer than 3 months. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's like you're going to see something by that point, right? Generally with light bringers, and I don't mean that in like the Lucifer sense, um, right? Not talking
Right.
about like the morning star light bringer or anything, but bringing these frequencies in, um, they don't generally hold on um, to the bodies. They express themselves because it's painful to be have the light shining on them, right? And so they immediately are like, run, and it's like, I knew you were in there. Next.
Right.
Oh my goodness.
And fun things it is,
I
but
know. I
it,
know.
it is fun getting to know a lot of new personalities. I think just helping me, especially because I grew up pretty sheltered with that kind of shit. We went to church, we went to school, and then I'm like the introverted child.
Yeah. Yeah. Cindy is saying she really wants to share about protecting their children from black magic, like having people
Mm,
understand what
right.
it's like to protect your children from black magic. But she says, but they already think I'm nuts. You know what I say about that? Oh, well, right? Like, I used to hide. Oh, well, Cindy. Like, I used to like my crazy, and I actually told my children, like, hey, maybe when you go to school, you're probably not going to want to talk about the things we talk about at home, right? And
Mm,
so, and I actually regret doing that. I actually wish that I hadn't said that, um, and because I think that it helped um, nurture an insecurity in my children for you being able to connect with their soul by the appropriate ages, and have that disconnection from source. And so I'm going in and trying to repair that, but not being afraid to this is one of the things I just did a when I did my meditation. It's one of the things is that releasing the fear of knowing too much. And I'm not saying that from ego, right? This is like, we're powerful beings and we're here to be powerful creators. And, we've been taught, like you said, you go to church, you keep your head down, you go to school, you keep your head down,
be
right?
timid.
And, and we've all learned that in one way or another. And it's important to say, you know what? I'm not keeping my head down. I'm going to look up, right?
That's a challenging cycle to break. And I think that is still that wounded child that I've been working on, because I was like this morning, what?
Mhm.
So yeah, I think knowing what to say, how to say it, and sometimes we really can't say anything. And it's
Yeah.
just kind of biting your tongue and breathing deep, because that's kind of what I had to do at work, being told, you're such a mean person, and how I was attacking this person. And I'm just sitting here going, can I defend myself? I'm not saying anything mean. This is just the facts and my side of the story. And it was total shutdown every single time of how mean I was. And I was just this abusive person. And I'm like, wow, looking at all of the signs up to that point, and I'm like, this person was in an altar and reactive with the PTSD, that that person was complaining that they had been crying all weekend, and that she couldn't even call me, that I wasn't there for her, But, and I'm just keeping my mouth shut thinking, okay, well, I just had diarrhea and vomiting all weekend because I also got food poisoning Tuesday and Wednesday on my trip
Mm.
back. But I just was like, I'm not going to even, but she kept going. And finally I was like, yeah, I had a shitty weekend too, but I'm not unloading. I'm focusing on what's the positive. And then I was mean for saying that.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of times when you're dealing with somebody that's deep into the victim, victimizer, the false king of tyranny, all of those programs, a lot of times there's really nothing that we can do because they want to feed off of you. They want you to pity them. They want you to give them that boo-hoo, oh, I'm so sorry. But it's like, I got my shit too and it sucks, but I didn't tell everybody how bad my weekend was because I'm like, God, it's awesome. I got to sleep all day.
Yeah. Well, Amaria, when we engage with that, like the moment you put yourself into like, apparently the dog was chasing the cat out of the room, so I apologize for the thunderous noise. She's like, no, this is our space. I got it. Like, get out. Like, yeah, okay, thank you. I didn't need that.
Yeah,
It's,
I'm really working on
yeah.
not engaging just because it's not worth it.
Well,
It's really not worth
it
it.
puts it engages your victim victimizer programming. So you automatically that, it's like, if they're not going to get to you one way, this is part of psychic attack. They're going to get to you by stepping, those possessions step into the altars, right?
Right.
And function from there to be able to trigger if you don't clear that victim victimizer programming, you're just going to very easily, um, uh, when it's presented, you're going to engage with it because it's comfortable. And we want to naturally defend ourselves, right?
Mm,
And instead, part of like deprogramming that is literally witnessing what's happening in front of you, and really authentically witnessing it without waiting to respond, without defending ourselves, without anything except for just wholeheartedly listening to the person. And if you feel like you need to say something, of course, if you're in danger, leave the space, right? But
right.
if you feel like you need to say something, it's just sharing that. Thank you for sharing your emotions with me. Thank you for sharing your day with me. I really, I'm really honored to be able to listen to that. And, that's becoming a compassionate witness. The second you engage in the victimizer programming. Okay, let's see. What is Patrick saying? He says Harry Potter had a really good scene where they are all learning defense against the dark arts, and the children have to face a Bogart that tells them on the form of their worst fears. Oh yeah. The way to overcome it is to say ridiculous. Oh, I remember that. And then to
Oh yeah.
transmute the energy into something funny or hilarious. And he said that really works for him. That's actually
Awesome.
really, that's a good way to begin to deprogram as well. Those are really great, easy steps,
I
right?
did funny pictures today to giggle.
Nice. Very nice.
So
Oh
I
my
guess that was
gosh.
my ridiculous.
Yeah. Perfect. Gosh,
And I
that's
did really good after I got my mail because I did a shitty parking job and ran in and I was getting yelled at. And I just said, I love you to the guy and he's flipping me off and cussing me out. And I'm like, I'm not even going to engage.
so perfect. Perfect. Oh my gosh.
I like that ridiculous thing. It's a good reminder.
Mhm. Oh my gosh, earlier Cindy said, I know this is an inside joke. She said, you can't make this shit up. We had a session and I got like really close to the camera and I was like, I'm serious. Like, you can't make this shit up. And like, I really looked like an alien. Like, I didn't look like a human being. She sent me this clip and I actually sent it to my oldest daughter and she was like, oh my God, Mom, are you an alien? In the flesh, here I
Don't you
am.
love it when
We
we
were
can have
wondering
those
where we were.
the weird looking photos? I'm like, how did I get that angle? That's kind of weird.
Oh, it's
I
fantastic.
love it.
It's fantastic. Oh my gosh. Anything else? I don't know. Other good ways to protect, from psychic attacks. I mean, I guess don't engage. That's one of them, right? Don't
Right.
engage. Continue to say, I do not consent, right?
And
And
gratitude, I think
yes,
too.
always the gratitude. Making little
that
positive.
whole drive,
Mhm.
I'm just like, thank you, Creator, thank you, God, thank you, all of my guides, everyone that's here with me, guardians, whoever is holding this car together. I know that it's because of you. And I didn't realize the extent of the damage, but the fact that I drove from Salt Lake, where it started having issues, another 6 hours to Vegas, or I guess I was about in Provo, so about 6.5 hours. Yeah, that. So yeah, gratitude is a big one.
Mhm.
Gratitude is a big one.
Yep, I agree. I agree with that. Sometimes it's really hard to look around and see what we have and be grateful for that when we're looking. I'm guilty of this too, realizing that in the moment I have everything that I need, but then I'm thinking, oh, but what am I going to do when this happens? Like now, just like my lease is up soon and I'm like, oh my gosh, what am I start, thinking, and you can spiral down so quickly and
Right.
lose like anything that you just agreed to be grateful for, washes away the second we start going, but when am I going to have the next thing? What's going to happen next? Right? It's like, where
Right.
did all that gratitude go? Right? And then that opens us up. Again, that's a weakness. Any weaknesses that we have can be and will be attacked if
And
we.
that's a hard one.
Mhm.
That's a hard one that I know I'm working on too. And I don't think it's really that either you or I have issues with lack of abundance,
Mhm.
because we're able to manifest, I think, pretty well. And there's times when I'm like, I get a shit ton of stuff, bam. And then there's times when it's dry. And it might be that way with most people. I mean, I don't know if you notice cycles like that.
Yeah.
Um, and so I think sometimes those dry spells, or they would feel more dry, maybe that's when we're kind of getting into the flow again. And so, I mean, maybe there's better ways to flow with it, where we're getting one going and then get another one spinning. Maybe it's getting a few spinning at once so that we're not like, oh shit, dry spell.
This is part of understanding how to work with planet and how to work with the ley lines, right? It's understanding how we make those connections and push that out um, into the world, right? It's like,
Right.
manifesting is easy once you get the hang of it, right? Once you kind of see how you get in there, and work it and blow through all of that stuff, and then you go, oh my gosh, I had no idea it was that simple. And I don't remember if I was talking to Colin or someone. I was like, be careful what you ask for, and I was just saying, like, one of my girlfriends, she'll always get like, she has no problem like dating people. They're always attractive men, all these things. And then, but it's like, then she'll have to add like one more thing to her list. She's like, because and she's actually even written a list out before. And I'm like, will you just be careful? Like, finally, she started writing actually things. I'm just be careful what you ask for because you're going to get it. And, if you're not specific, then there are going to be some really major things that you're going to be overlooked. So I said something really crass to her. I won't repeat it here because it's really not very clean. I basically was like, I'll just give you a clue and you can use your imagination. I'm like, the next relationship I manifest, I'm going to know what color his eyes are and I'm going to know everything down to the inches.
Oh
Fun.
God. Oh shoot. You know, it's like a friend of mine that he is a manifester. I'm trying to get him on one of my shows, but I'm blown away. And his mentor, like, I'm starting to take notes, and that's exactly what he talks about. It's like, be specific, exactly down to like, my perfect client is, and then that's what I've been putting, like, a perfect client is this type of person, like loving, and they're doing the work and they're seeking that help and they're actually gonna work with me. Or, and I did one for, yeah, a partner, because I that's something that, down the road I would like to see happen, or experience. And so I do have that, my ideal committed partnership, because I am not getting married again. The government is staying the fuck out of my life, you know, but there is that element of, I do want commitment with somebody, but I need to be specific. What kind of commitment, what kind of personality, you know, and it really is, what am I putting out into the world as far as love goes, as far as the type of service, how do I love and how do I want to be loved? And that's what is I'm bringing into my life. I am very specific details on that list.
Mm-hmm.
And
You
it's
know,
interesting, you can feel that energy.
you can, but none of it is going to make a lick of difference if you don't love yourself the way
Right.
you're searching for the love. You
Yes.
can want all you want for somebody to do X, Y, and Z and to love you this certain way. But if you're not already treating yourself that way,
Mm-hmm.
nobody else is going to do it. Right.
Exactly.
So it's
Exactly.
like a like attracts like. I got a text message because one of our listeners can't pop in, and she writes, I learned long ago never to wrestle with a pig. You get dirty, and besides, the pig likes it. George Shaw.
I've done the grease pig scramble, so that's even funnier for me.
Oh my
I
gosh,
love it.
that's fantastic. And then Cindy was saying she had a great experience going to Walmart with the intent that I would provide reasons not to wear a mask. I walked right in and half of the people were not wearing them. Yeah.
I love it.
She's like, it was the only reason I went to Walmart. And then she had to find something to buy. And that's what I say, go in there and be prepared to say, okay, what's your name? What's your name and rank?
I
And,
know, right?
and then be willing to say, I'll be pressing charges for harassment or discrimination, I guess is how you
Yeah.
could look at it. Proving that none of this is law, it's all mandate. So thank you for
Mhm.
bringing that up, and thank you for
Yes.
standing up for humanity. I don't care that people want to wear a mask. I don't give two shits about it.
Right.
You wear a mask all day long. I'm certainly not going to date you, but
I know, you put the take that fucking mask off.
take take that out
I love
of
it.
the thing. But don't force other people to do it, especially when there's really, yeah, no, she had her pad and pen. I love it. Thank you for that, because it's like, write the information down, hold people accountable. And the second you hold them accountable and you shine the light, they're going to get scared. They're going to back down. Why? Because fear is a natural thing. I mean, unless you get a really possessed someone that's going to push back, I say keep going, right?
Right.
Go above them. Okay, who's your manager? Okay, who's the store owner? Okay, these kind. I keep going with it.
It was rough in Vegas. I got to give that much. At Smith's, one of the Smiths we went to, we basically got ganged on, and we went in without a mask, and the whole time, and finally, I was shoved a mask into my face, and I said, "Where's a pen? Put the mask on." I said, "Give me a pen." Put the mask on. Give me a fucking pen. And I
Mhm.
wrote Nazis required compliance on that mask. And I set it on the counter with the pen. And I got my own mask out. And he's like, "You had a mask this whole time." And I said, "Yes, your masks are shit. This is shit. But I needed to make a point. What you're doing is unlawful. And I'm here to spend my money to get food that I need to survive on because I'm out of state. And you want me to put a fucking face diaper on to buy food?" And he was just like, "Put the mask on." So I put it on and I did this.
I would have left. I
I
probably
was
would
so
have left,
mad.
but I mean, what do you do in that situation, right? Like,
At that point, we were just like, there was 6 of them on us, and I'm like, "Fuck it, we have our cart full, we're tired, we
mhm,
just drove
mhm,
all day, we need groceries." So I
yeah.
had to make that, and I probably shouldn't have flipped him off because I did engage, and that was
But it's like, sometimes
sometimes we have to fight those fights.
I went to a little boutique here in town. I don't ever go out. I don't want to be anywhere, right? And so, because I don't want to, I don't want to get pissed off. I mean, that's the bottom
Yeah,
line. Is like I don't want to. My energy gets sucked dry. I don't want to have to continue to amplify my container and be in this
right.
fear-ridden space, right? But anyway, but I did want to like venture out. Like I'm always home. I'm home all the time. I'm just home, home, home. And
Mm.
so, hold on, Scotty. Come on. I think she has to go potty or something. She doesn't usually bother me. Um,
Oh,
she oh, so, okay, so my girlfriend and I, we went and ate. I didn't put my mask on. We did get to eat outside though, but I wouldn't have
nice.
put it on to begin with. There are some people that will allow you to just be that way. You get a lot of looks. But then
Right.
I said, let's go to this little boutique. I want to try to support small local places. And this is a small local place. And the girl that worked there, she was so sweet and like didn't want like she had a mask on, but we walked in with no mask on and we walked around for a while and there was a mother and daughter. The mother was in the dressing room and the daughter had her mask on walking around. And then finally the mom was going to be done and the worker came up and said, can you please put a mask on? And I was like, no. And she's like, look, if it were up to me, like I wouldn't be wearing my mask and I would never ask you to wear a mask. There are plenty of people I have come in, but she's like the woman in the dressing room. Like she's the type of person that will like take your picture and put it all over social media and make a big stink about it. And I was like, well, I'll put a mask on, but it's made out of lace. It looks like a pair of panties. I'm not joking.
I love
And
it.
she's like, "It's okay, like, just, I just don't want this woman to, like, lose her mind." And so, like, I did, she was super kind about it. I don't have a real mask anyway, right?
Yeah.
Because it's about as effective as they are.
Oh
S
yeah.
but I mean, I agree. Um, uh, there's time I could have left at that point, but, um, she wasn't unkind, you know what I mean?
Yeah, the
The
ones
other
that
guy
have
was
been pretty
really
kind. Right. Yeah,
um,
I try to be nice to the ones especially because they're just trying and I think they're scared. They don't want to lose their business and
yeah, yeah. Yep, there's a lot of people that feel like if they don't comply, then they're going to lose their livelihood, and it's really unfair to play on people like that. That
yeah,
also is psychic attack. That's
it is.
an attack. Living in fear and creating uh, scarcity and it's just it makes me sick. Patrick is saying that he has found that entities attached to our dirty chakras. So I will regularly clean them by facing all the things I fear, all my guilt, my shame, my grief, my lies, my illusions, and my attachments. Then I let them go.
I
That's
love that. Patrick, you have so much wisdom. Thank you for
yeah,
sharing that. It's
yeah.
beautiful.
That is beautiful, and it's not, especially in the man community. There aren't very
I
many
know.
the men. All of our men. I'm so grateful for our men. Even just saying, "I have work to do," right?
Yeah,
Like just being able to say that. I'm just so grateful. We have a lot of things shifting, and to be able to to be able to say, I'm going to look at my fears and release them. That's huge. That's huge. That's the bulk of our battle right there, right? Because when we don't have any fear, there's nothing to attach to. You're in 0 point. It's like,
exactly.
what's going to happen there? Nothing. You're like invisible.
I think that's kind of where I've been lately is when I'm feeling like today, like feeling it literally, and yesterday and the weekend where we're like, "Ugh," like that's what I'm looking at. Okay, what's the point causing this tear or this reaction or I need to defend myself or the feeling of that and how can I find the root cause? And I've really been digging it. And I didn't think of it that way, like Patrick said, to look at the dirty chakras, but really I think a lot of those fears can be based, especially root and sacral, because
Mhm.
it's where we've been attacked so much. Our personality, that's our root, that's our foundation. And so that's a really good. Hey, Jacob, go grab that new pyramid that I got. I gotta show you. This pyramid's gorgeous. Like everything lately has been red that I've been attracted to. Hey, who is in the kitchen? They probably have their earphones in. If they bring it, they bring it. If not, whatever. But so it's got a red Brazilian amethyst
Mm.
that I was
Wow.
attracted to. That this lady, she enhanced it with some coloring. Hey, Braylon, come here. Here, will you open my door and bring that pyramid, the red one? Here's my key. Um, but there, it's funny because that's what I've been really attracted to lately, is like red and orange
Mhm.
especially. And so I think that's a lot of times we're attracted to the colors maybe that I think that we're healing, or maybe we're healing like what Patrick's saying, the dirty attachments or the dirtiness of the aura that maybe we don't even really see. That's what I love about working with you and Kais, is we sometimes I'm like, oh, look at me, what's going on? And we're in the middle of that for a second, and someone else can take a look and say, oh yeah, I can see, like you saw the possession that I had last night. And then I was able to step back and go, oh yeah. And I could feel exactly where it was, and it was done.
It's like sometimes it's that simple, just like I can't see it, show me where it is, right?
Hmm.
And it's yeah, I'm grateful for the two of you as well because it's like, oh my God, something is like knocking on my door and I can't freaking see where it's coming from, right? And uh, we can get blindsided, but I mean, you were under like, I mean, there was almost like it seems like no way that.
Thank you, buddy.
I mean, being around all of those people and all the personalities and all of the
Oh,
things, right? I thought, oh my gosh, we'll see, we'll see. Oh my goodness, that's beautiful.
it's so big. I was just like, what? That
Wow.
she, and it's different. I've not used one like this before. It's mostly crystal energy, similar to the way I did. But what I do is I have my auto tuners. I guess I didn't bring one in, and I'll strike the auto tuner or the tuning fork and put it on top and just let the whole thing resonate with the crystal
Mm,
energy. And I've
yeah.
been holding it on my abdomen,
Oh,
and
beautiful.
talk about the releases. Like that's what I've been bawling with, is I'll have this resonating with my auto tuners on my abdomen.
Mm-hmm.
And wow.
You know,
But she,
do you have you ever taken the point? So like the point of a crystal, and I'll just grab like one of my tuning forks. So like you take it, and you hit it, right? I don't
hmm,
hear that. But when you put it on the crystal with the point, like
oh yeah,
I know nobody can feel it, but it like the point of anything, especially a quartz, but it
right.
will be specific, like it really goes into specific spots. Um, and so like that's when I was doing hands-on body work, that's what I used a lot for people who couldn't. I have a really heavy hand, really heavy massage hand. And so
Mm,
there are some people that couldn't,
really
take
sensitive.
that. So we would just do energy work or gentle. And don't get me wrong, it's energy work and crystals and tuning forks. I mean, that's gonna F your crap up, right? Like
Right.
people feel like they were beaten up. And it's like you didn't even touch me. And I'm like, sorry. Like you had some physical stuff we needed to take care of. Like, so I worked in your physical body, right?
And I
They're
never
like,
would have
without
thought,
touching?
right? Never would have thought to use my auto tuners like what you're showing, or even on the pyramid. It's
Mhm.
just another level of, oh, cool, I can
Mm,
do that.
absolutely.
And it really, it makes a difference. I mean, just something like this, I thought, oh, I like this. It's different. I've never seen one like that because I've studied Wilhelm Reich. So I'm like, this is not to his specifications, but what do you do with it? And she's like, let me show you. And I was like, whoa, my whole heart and my root went, I'm like, yeah, I need that one.
That's
So
cool.
I
That's
think what I want to do, that I was thinking about since I make them too, is make them of the different chakra colors, so
mm,
that when I'm doing hands-on, um, that I could do that. Maybe even just lay them on the person, on their back or on their belly or something, up their chakra points. So I
mhm,
think this one's wide enough that I could straddle it on someone's groin if I had to without it feeling offensive. But
yeah.
that kind of energy just on the whole body, to be able to take the crystal energy, the color energy, the auto tuners, and
Yeah.
just really marry all that together on top of what we're doing psionically. I'm so excited on this.
Yeah, it's really fun. It's really fun. I'm feeling there's like for some people, I notice this depending on where the resonance of the client is, that they need like the tuning forks and the way that everything is shifting and changing, and depending on how much of the light body someone has embodied. Tuning forks can actually really muck up their field. It can
Interesting.
like bring their vibration down.
Ah,
It's not always called for everybody, right?
right.
I don't use the tuning forks on myself because they are not in the right proper balance. I
Mm,
need a different resonance. But it doesn't mean that when I was doing work on people that they didn't need that. So, use your obviously intuitive
right.
abilities to work with that. And then it also does change the frequency when you use crystals, right? That automatically switches the frequency
Yeah, it was
that you're
amazing.
working with. Yeah.
Really. And I'm
Yeah.
wondering if the auto tuner with the crystals, if it's more of like a pulling shit out thing instead of a balancing, harmonizing thing. Because really, if it's going to be lowering or kind of mucking up the frequency, then sometimes we're having to kind of stir the pot to find out, okay, where's the pebble? There it is. And then we got to I'm wondering if
Yeah.
that's kind of what it is.
Well, that's a really great question. It's when you're working with crystals and you're working on the body, crystals are really hard workers. And if you don't give them a specific job to do, they'll kind of do like whatever their specialty is, or like whatever. Like, I'll give you an example. Like, I was working on someone and I was using tuning forks and I was using a crystal. And I said, oh my gosh, I needed to get this entity off this person. And I wasn't seeing a way to get it out. Like, I was like, I don't understand how to get this out. And I said, I need help. And so I reached to a crystal of mine and I still have it. I need to clear it out. And it actually, the crystal actually pulled the entity out and trapped it in the crystal. And there's a
I've
dark
heard.
mark in my crystal now. So yeah.
Wow.
And I've been like I had it wrapped for a long time with intention to release it properly, right? And cross it
Right.
over. But every time when you're done using your crystals, you have to clear them. You have to clear them
Right.
because they'll pick up shit from other people. And then you're going to start releasing that out into other people's bodies and stuff like that. So you have to be
Right.
really, really careful.
Well, and I don't usually let a lot of people even touch my stones unless I
Mhm.
know the person, I trust the person.
Yeah.
And then I might show someone like, oh yeah, I got this really cool one, but then I'm not handing it to them unless I'm like, I trust you.
Yeah. It's
Yeah,
like
because
handing over
that's
your newborn
amazing.
baby. Yeah.
It's I've heard of them making marks like that when entities have gone in or left.
Yep.
That's just mind-boggling because I've
Yeah.
never seen it, but
Yeah.
wow,
It's
I have
it's
heard of it.
it's really fascinating, and the longer they stay in there, I've seen somebody who has crystals that started out um, um, clear, and then over the years from not clearing it out, it's like they're almost black as the entity like really takes over the whole beingness of the crystal. So my
Dang.
question is like, I wonder if at some point well, obviously the crystal dies, right? So that's the sad thing about that, is that the crystal actually dies and the entity takes over. But anyway.
It's like, and then that case, it's like, what do you do with that shit? I guess you just keep doing the good work and releasing and
Mhm,
doing the best we can, huh?
mhm. Yeah.
That's really interesting. Thank you for that. I mean, 'cause I'm still learning a lot about crystals and
Mhm.
I'm fascinated and I love
Mhm.
it. It's
It is
beautiful.
fun. It is fun to work with them.
Really
Anyway,
cool.
I don't know, for whatever it's worth, I think we had a pretty mellow conversation and that was fun. I hope that anything that we said was helpful. It feels like a conversation today more than, tips and tricks, with some tips and tricks, but um, yeah, we're on our time. So
Yeah,
yeah,
that's
I don't
awesome.
I don't know if anyone has any more questions. We're happy to answer. Oh, yes, there's a question. Is there one way you use to reset your crystals? Hmm.
I
Um,
do several of them actually, but I'll let you go. You
no, go
or
ahead.
like,
I
I'll go
talked.
ahead.
No, I just.
Um, I used to use salt, but I don't like that it mars up my crystals. I sometimes I'll use water, but you have to be careful which ones are water soluble. The best thing that I've noticed for myself is intention, because sometimes I can't put it on the ground
Mm,
in that moment. And so I have the intention And I love how Lisa Renee actually has a read the rights type thing. And just in case of an entity, if I'm feeling something's there, I like that reading its rights.
Yeah.
You know, if anything needs to leave this, you've got the right to self-determine, you have your right to your free will. You have a right to, you know, have your own life, but it needs to be away from what I'm doing. It needs to be jettisoned now. And you've got a couple choices. You could go to your creator source, you could go to source itself, pick and choose, but you got to go. And I leave you with love. And that's kind of how I've done it in a nutshell for those that haven't actually read through her scripts. But that's a big one for me. Or I just set it on the ground and let a little bit of sunshine hit it. I don't really do the moon thing anymore because the moon, to me, it's just an illegitimate satellite. It's an observatory. So I don't worship
Bastard
the moon.
child. Yeah.
It's the bastard child, which is funny because I have that Diana energy, Artemis, which is the moon goddess, which I'm like, that's fucking hilarious. Because now I'm like, yeah, whatever, moon. I'll show you a moon.
Realized there was a full moon coming, and I walked outside last night and I said, "Oh, hello, moon."
I love it. I love it.
But
So how do you discharge or clear crystals?
I run my own frequency through them. I'll ask them what frequency they want me to use,
Oh,
or
cool.
I'll put them on top of selenite, a piece of selenite,
Oh, yes.
or put them in a selenite vortex. So I'll take like 6 pieces of selenite. They're all behind me. I don't want to get up and get them. And I put them like, the faces face each other, right? So 6 pieces all face each other, and it creates a vortex.
Oh,
And you
cool.
just put it in the center, like you just put it right in the little center, and the vortex clears it up. Or I'll call in the aqua portal, I'll call in
Oh,
mother.
I love that one.
And so use flames to clear it out. You can use any of those, gold or aqua.
I like that
And
a
so,
lot, actually. I
yeah,
think that the mother arc, the aqua portal would probably be one, and where you do your energies as well as intent. I like anything that's as least invasive as possible.
yeah,
And some people are like, well, it has to be done this way, and there's only one way. There's no right or wrong how to do it. You know, what's the best intention? What's the best way you could respect and honor your crystal and do it where, you're not damaging it? Because I've seen people strip their crystals, and I'm like, I feel so sad. I'm like, oh, the luster's gone. You put too much salt, or you set it in too long, or I'm like, oh no.
yeah.
It's kind of
They'll
sad.
often just tell you what they want or what they need. And
Right.
sometimes, you can they'll clear themselves out or ask to be paired with another crystal, right? And they can work together. So, yeah. You're
Awesome.
welcome. And you're welcome, Ginger. Thank you for being here.
Yeah, thanks for the
So,
questions
yeah, thank you, everybody.
and awesome input. Yes. Always love it.
Yeah, me too. All right. I think we're out of here to not love the moon energies. And it's like, I do not consent. I don't need your
Yep, I do
emotion,
not
your
consent.
magnetic emotions trying to pull me down. I felt it actually pulling on my ovaries the other day,
Mm,
a couple nights ago, and I was like, yeah, I don't think so. Those don't belong to you, in case you forgot.
right, right. Yeah, that was some pretty heavy energies, but we got through it. We made
Yep.
it.
Yeah, we sure did. And you're home, and we're good.
And we are. We got all that crap out.
Yeah.
And
All
I'm
right.
grateful and abundant. And there's still a little bit of shit that I had to stir out of the pot and clean out. But tonight's ending fabulous. And
Yeah.
I love my life. And I really, truly am full of abundance and gratitude. And I love everyone that I know that you guys that watch this have been so supportive of all of us. I love you guys so much. Thank you. It just means so much that you guys are here and that you share with us.
I love it too. I was going to say that. Okay.
I love you, Chess. I'll give you a big bear hug.
All right, guys, sending you so much love, and we'll see you next week, Monday. So, bye for now.
Yay.
Much love.